Happy Saturday, you all. 79 degrees. It is very windy. And I just stepped outside. Hang on. Oh my God. You know the husband's home when we have that music playing. Yeah, it's really windy outside. I barely stepped outside and I'm already like stuffy. I'm stuffy. It's gonna get worse tonight supposedly because we have a front coming in. They said it was a cold front. I don't know. But I'm like, great. More bad weather. And I still haven't put gas. Shoot. I'm a little bit below half a tank. I just ran into my neighbor and her dog. I love her little dog. He loves me too. We love each other. He is so freaking adorable. I can't stand it. And I just saw a black cat too. A real pretty, puffy black cat. And I called it over because it looked like it had a collar. But it ran away from me. Oh man. It ran away from me, and so I was telling her, I think it has a collar. It must belong to somebody, and I wish they would take it inside. Anything can happen to it out here. It's dark and windy, you know? But anyhow, I was watching a video earlier, and I was telling my husband about it. And, my nose is itchy. Sorry, y'all. I think it was Squirrel Tribe, but she was talking about a certain situation. So you all go listen to her. ST Talks. She was describing a situation that happened to her in an elevator with a family, you know. And I felt really bad for her because I was like, man, you know, that sucks. And I think we've all been there at one time or another. I'm not going to go into detail about her story because that's her story to tell. And if you want to hear her story, you can go to her channel. I really like listening to her a lot, and her husband too. They have a lot of great insight, and especially when it comes to politics. And I mean, you all can just make up your own mind about that, you know. But I really recommend her channel if it hasn't come out on your feed yet. But anyhow, I was telling the husband about that. And it was weird because it was on the way to the restaurant that he had been wanting to try out. I can't say the name because apparently I can get sued if I say the name and they lose business, even though they should already be losing business with all the bad service that they have. But it's a popular restaurant in my area. They opened a second location. And at first it was really packed for months because that's the way it is down here. I don't know about other cities, but here where I live, it's like that. If anything new happens or pops up, everybody and their grandmother has to go, you know? And it'll be packed for a couple of months and then it'll finally die down. And so my son and I had been wanting to go. And then it turns out that my sister-in-law was having her birthday party there last week. But we weren't able to go because the husband wasn't in town yet, and I wasn't going to go by myself, and they already know that. I don't go by myself. And then my son was working that night as well, and I told my sister-in-law I would go if my son was not working, but no, I'm not going to go solo. And I think she got upset about that, but whatever. And anyway, so I was telling the husband about that, and he's like, let me look up at the menu. And I was like, you know what? They have some really good things in there. We'll go this weekend when I get there. And I was like, really? And I was like, okay. Because he never wants to try anything new. Okay? The husband loves the Texas Roadhouse. So do I. But, you know, we wanted to try something different. I had already been to this particular restaurant at the first location many times with the cousin, my son, and we like it. We really like it. I especially love their tea. I think it's the peach tea that we got last time. And it was so good. My son and I have been wanting to go to the new location, like I said. And so the husband and I were really looking forward to going over there as I'm telling him the story, right? About, ST Talks video. And so we get there at the restaurant. There's not really many people at all. So we knew like there wasn't going to be a wait. There wasn't a wait. They sat us down right away. But where they sat us down was kind of like in the middle of all the tables. And I don't like sitting in the middle of a lot of tables to begin with. But all I saw was dirty tables around us. And it was like the shape of a square, okay? The area. And all around were dirty tables. And I was like, what the hell just happened here, It was like people went to go have lunch and they decided, the staff there decided, yeah, we're not going to clean until closer to dinner time, Because they were barely cleaning up those other tables. And I was about to ask the hostess, can we just, sit at one of those tables? It's dirty. And this is the only table we have available right now. The booths are not available. And that's the way she spoke to me, okay? So I was just like, what the hell? And the husband who doesn't like confrontation with the public, only me, he's just like, let's just sit right here. It's okay. So I'm like, fine, So we're sitting there. We already have the menus because the hostess hands us the menus and everything. And we're trying to decide, oh, look, should we try this? Should we try that? And what drink do you want? My husband right away, what drink do you want? He wants to get me medicated right away. So I wonder why, And so I'm there and I'm just like, I guess I'll have this drink, It's on happy hour right now, so I guess I'll have this one, And I said, or do I want this one, And anyhow, we're there still, talking about what we're going to order and trying to decide. And we see the other tables that were seating people, how their orders were already taken. They already gotten their drink orders. They got the complimentary, I think it's like a little croissant or something with butter. And, we're like, oh, okay, they're gonna, and then I remembered, I said, oh, that's right, they brought that for me and my son, last time that we went to the other location. I'd forgotten about that they do that now. And I said, okay, cool, because we were kind of hungry already, and we were waiting for somebody to come, at least to take our drink order, do you want a water or something, and we continued to sit and wait. There were other people that were already asking for boxes to go. And we were still waiting. There was a waiter, a server, that went around outside of us asking every table, can I get you anything else? Do you want me to get you the check already? You're ready to go? Okay, I'll be right back. How about some more water? How about this? How about that? Goes to the next table. Same thing, right? And we're just like, oh, okay, well, maybe once he's done doing that, he'll come to us. Didn't even turn around. Didn't even look behind him. Went around us, totally avoided us. And went to the back. The table next to us, we noticed there were some ladies sitting there, 2 ladies. They got croissants brought over. They got their teas brought over. We thought, okay, surely maybe now they'll take our order. They're done with that table, maybe now we're next. Nope, same thing. That server, another gentleman, just went right straight to the back. It was as if we were not even sitting there. Like that table did not exist, and neither did we. And I finally started telling the husband, do you want to just go somewhere else? This is ridiculous. Like, I can't believe they're doing this. Like, we've been sitting here for like 15 minutes now, and nobody's even come by to say hello, I'll be right with you. Nothing. And he's like, don't make a scene. Just calm down. Let's just give them 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes, and then we'll go. And I'm looking at him like, wow, you're being very generous, aren't you? You know? And he starts going over the menu again. Look. How about do you want to try this dish instead? You know, this looks really good, and you love this. And, you know, trying to convince me to get the salmon and all. And I'm like, no, I don't want salmon. Because by this point, I'm already starting, like, to get really mad and lose my appetite for this place, you know? And I think he finally got the message when he saw that another set of people were getting seated and their drink orders were taken right away, and we were still waiting. And then he says, okay, let's go. I said, all right. So we got up, we went to the front, and the hostess just looks at us like, didn't we just sit you down? Like, where are you going, you know? And then I said, we're leaving, ma'am. Nobody ever came to our table to wait on us. So we're just going to go ahead and head out. And she was like, oh, okay, bye. And we're just like, what? And my husband's like, let's just go. You know, like, screw her, let's go. And I wanted to ask for the manager at that point. I turned around and I looked at her like, if looks could kill you all. And she had this smirk on her face like she didn't give a rat's ass. Like, just get the fuck out. Like, I don't give a shit. You know? And I was like really blown away. I was blown away by her attitude, because neither one of us were rude. Neither one of us, not with our tone or our face. But yeah, we were a little upset because, you know, we had been waiting and we couldn't understand what was going on. Why were we being ignored, you know? And so we left outside and everything, and I immediately felt really bad for my husband. Because listen, you all, I have been treated like shit a lot. Everywhere I go, okay? There's always those freaking bullies, okay, that treat me like shit everywhere I go. But you know what? I can take it. I saw the look on my husband's face, and it made me sad. This is a man, I know we argue a lot and stuff, but this is a man who works really hard out there, driving his truck 12 hours a day for 3 weeks straight, comes home for only 3 to 4 days, wants to go out and have a nice dinner with his wife, and he's going to get treated like this? That's the part that really made me mad. That's the part that hurt me. That's the part that broke me. And I was like, see you next Tuesday. Which, oh, the way she treated us, you know. I wanted to call the manager so bad, but I had to listen to the husband. I had to let it go. And I said, well, I'm going to at least leave them a bad review. I left a bad review. I didn't go into all this detail because it would be a very long review if I went into all this detail, right? I just basically said that they had no customer service skills and no manners. And what the hostess said to us. No apology or a thank you. Well, thank you for coming. Sorry about that. Nothing. It was just an, okay, bye. Have fun. Get the fuck out. Next. You know? There were other people getting there as we left. It was starting to get packed at that point. And I'm like, good luck to all of you all that are waiting. Good luck. You know, you're going to get really bad service as soon as you step in there. And maybe they did, maybe they didn't, because I hate to say it, but they were white. There was a lot of Hispanic people in there, but I guess we didn't look the part that we were. It almost felt like we were discriminated against. You know, we were wearing nice clothes. We weren't dressed like in shorts and t-shirts or anything like that. You know, like, I guess we didn't look rich. I don't understand. You know, I do not understand why they treated us, why they singled us out at that moment. But here's the good news. We went to our favorite restaurant, which is, and I can't say the name because I'm giving good reviews, Logan's Steakhouse. Logan's Texas Roadhouse. And, no, not Logan's. Oh, shit. Sorry, you all. Sorry. What is the name of that restaurant now? Texas Roadhouse. There you go. I had it mixed up. I'm dyslexic. I'm going to claim that because anytime I order anything or go somewhere, I seem to screw up the names, you know? Just like when my son, when he was younger, he wanted a Shamrock Shake from McDonald's. I actually said it right this time. And I'll be like, can I have a Shake Shamrock? And he's like, Mom, it's the other way around. Oh, can I have the Shamrock Shake? And they'll be like, oh, okay, yes, we do have that on the menu. Yes. What size? You know, like, that's just me. You all, if you've been listening to me for a while, get used to it, you all. I mess up a lot. Anyhow, so we go there and we got seated right away. We got great service. No, it wasn't even great service. It was excellent service. It was, and this is the Texas Roadhouse in Edinburgh. And it was excellent service by the server, who is a male. He didn't change identity. And really, really good food. And really good drinks. We had cocktails. I had a mixed drink. Well, he had beers. He had 2 beers and I had 1 mixed drink. And it was enough. And it was the best money spent right there. And I was telling the husband, man, this place never disappoints. It never disappoints. And he was like, well, that's why I like coming here instead. But you wanted to try something new. I'm like, don't even go there. Don't go there. You wanted to try that other place. Yeah, I know, but that place sucked. And I said, all right. But, yeah. And then right now, before I got in my car, I ran into my neighbor and I was telling her a little bit about it. And she's like, well, I kind of wanted to tell you about that. But I was like, no, let me let her experience it herself. And I was like, yeah, no, I get it. Because I'm like that anyway. Even if you tell me something bad about a place, I still want to know myself, you know, to see if it's as bad as, you know, people tell me it is. Yeah, well, it is. It really is. And she's like, My mother's complained about that. My coworkers have complained about that location. I'm surprised that that location is still even open. And I said, well, it barely opened. And she's like, yeah. And even like that, I'm surprised it's still going because it is bad. The food is good, but the service is bad. And I go, yeah, I believe you there. So here's the bottom line. If you don't want to work in the service industry, then don't do it. Nobody's forcing you to be there. And don't be a see you next Tuesday either about it. Fire yourself. Go look for another job. Go to school. Go live in your mama's basement. Do something other than have your face there. That's all. Love you all. Thank you for listening. Bye.